All right, we're gonna start standing. Oh, sorry, introduction. Hi, I'm Stephanie. This is Neuro-Movement with PD Active. We're gonna start standing today, as we have the last couple of weeks, and as we usually do. And sometimes I miss this part in some classes, but as I usually like to start, I like to check in with. I like you to check in with your body to see how you're standing, how you're walking, how your balance is, how is just the general feel and vibe of your body. Some of you, before we hit record, were saying that you're feeling your body's a little burnt out. So again, self-assessment at the beginning of class, that helps us better prepare for what we're looking for within the class, okay? So go ahead and stand, and without sort of thinking about it, find your default standing position and then look down at your feet and notice how you're standing. Are your feet turned out? Are they in parallel? One out? Do you have one foot forward of the other? And then for this class, I encourage no shoes. And so if you're not wearing socks either, you can even see the coloring of your feet. Are they looking alive, or are they looking a little sleepy? And then go ahead and just bounce your knees a little bit. And excuse me, I don't know where that came from. Bring allergies already? No way. All right, so we're gonna just bounce a little bit and notice the ease in which you're able to access that bounce. Does it feel like your body is holding tension and that bounce doesn't come quite naturally, or can you kind of bop through that a little bit, letting the arms be jello, shoulders sort of shrug, let your belly tissue just kind of let it all out, right? With Parkinson's, we have rigidity and stiffness. And so we want to find that fluidity, that sort of jiggliness in our body. Yeah, the jig. Good. From here, we're just going to sway from side to side. How far over can you get your hips? Notice what the shoulders have to do in order to get those hips really far over. You probably have to counter bend the other side. Good. Notice if you have any tightness in your low back there, tightness in the hip. Good, good. Nice job. And then go ahead and just start spinning those arms around. Keep your feet planted, but allow your ankles to sort of roll, your hips to rotate to each side of the room. Nice, Janet, that looks great. Letting those arms, again, just kind of like swap, like your arms are an extension of your torso. Yeah, very good. Yeah. This class is meant to make you look silly. So if you feel silly, you're doing it right. Okay, let it go. Put your ego aside. I'm up here in front of the world. I'm going to be on YouTube doing this, so you can do it in the private of your own home. All right, we're going to take a deep breath in, reach the arms up overhead, push through the ceiling. Let your shoulders shrug up to your ears, and then shake it out. I want you to come down and touch the ground in some way, okay? Then we're going to come up again. Inhale, let your shoulders shrug up, and then come down, touch the ground in whatever way that you want to make that happen. You might bend your knees, you might fold at the hips. Keep going up and down. And I'm not going to count it out for you. We're just going to move through those two positions, up and shrugging the shoulders, flare the armpit, and then touch the ground in some way. And we'll do that with just one more time, whatever version you are doing. And release. Now, I want you to walk around the room and again, take a little self-assessment of how your walk feels today. If walking is not an option for whatever reason, you can march in place or sway in place. And just a couple of things, some qualities of your walk that I want you to pay attention to. You ready? I want you to pick 2 of these qualities to pay attention to. I'm going to run a list of like 10 though. So pick out 2 that you want to pay attention to. First, the sound of your gait or the sound of your marching in place. And again, if you're not walking around the room, you can march in place or march in the chair. All right, sound of the steps, the foot articulation. Do you land on your whole foot or do you land on your heel and then roll through? The stride length. Do your hips rotate like a model on the runway? What about your eyes? Where do you look when you walk? Do you look down at the ground or do you look in front of you? What about your arm swing? And then you can also take note of your general feel of your walk. General feel. Rock on. Bring it back to your center. Okay, so you picked out 2 qualities of your walk. We're going to do class as you need it to happen. And then we're going to check the gate at the end of class to see if those 2 things change. Who knows? I don't know. All right, we're going to finish out again standing with a bit more standing warm up. So I want you to separate your feet as wide as possible, like super wide, obnoxiously wide. Very nice. We're going to lean over into the left leg and place your hands on your thighs. Good. From here, I want you to reach up on the diagonal as if you're putting something on the shelf to your right side. Love it. Bring it down. This is kind of like PWR move. Reach on the rotation. Good. So leaning into your left leg, rotate up, put something on the shelf. Now, if you're feeling a little bit spicy today, I want you to push off this your left foot. And so you lift up your left heel when you're putting something on the shelf. There's like a little pivot. That's it, Carrie. Bring it down and then pivot up. Now, your eyes are also going to follow where your hands are. So they come down to your thigh. We reach up and up on the shelf. Okay. That's going to bring in some balance challenges. When you bring your eyes into the equation, it's going to kind of throw you off a little bit. So just be mindful with it. Take what you need. We're going to go about 10 more seconds of whatever pace you're going at. Nice. And release. Awesome. Shake out the hips. Do a little dance. Love it. We're going to do the other side. Yeah. Leaning into right leg. Did I get that correct? Right leg. Yep. Rotate. Put something on the shelf on the left side. High up. The highest shelf possible. Good. Ted, you look like a tall guy. It's probably your job in the house to do that. Yeah. Up. And reach up on that shelf. Nice. Now, again, if you're feeling spicy, you're going to pivot off of your right leg, lifting up your heel as you stretch up. I think my heel got covered by my little name thing in the corner of Zoom. There we go. Drop and push. Love it. You're driving off of that big toe. Yes. Eyes follow the movement. We're going to go for about 10 more seconds of whatever pace you're going at. The topmost shelf, the highest one. There you go, Janet. Last one here. Lean and push. Nice job. And return. Grab your chair if you need it for a little bit of balance. We're going to do some calf raises, some heel raises. So you can either use a chair for balance or you can use a wall, fingertips on the wall. Okay. All right. Feet about parallel underneath your hip. And we're going to lift the heels up so that we come onto the balls of your feet. And then lower your heels down nice and slow. You got it. Lifting up and lowering down. Beautiful. So that's the big idea. Some tips to make this a little bit more precise. We're going to try not to put as much weight in the hands for the wall or the chair. Okay. So I call it a super finger. It's like you're just using it for balance. Okay. But all the strength is coming from your heel. Second thing to consider is not letting yourself rock back when the heels come down. So it's kind of like you're just lowering your heels. They're going to tap the ground and then come off the mat. But you're keeping your weight through the forefoot, through the balls of the foot. Good. Are we burning yet? Is there smoke coming from those calves yet? Yeah. Nice. Let's go 2 more. And last one. Love it. And release out. Nice. All right. If you're using your chair, we're going to use the chair next. You can also do this without the chair. Carrie, this is like what we did yesterday, the hip hinge. Okay. So you would just surf with your arms out. Okay. Right here, we're going to rock the chair onto its front 2 legs and bring our hearts down towards the mat. So we're like parallel with our torso. So rocking the chair onto its front 2 legs and then return the chair into its flat position. We're going to bring the hands behind us and open up our body. Bring your eyes to the ceiling. Love it. Okay, so that's the shape. We go into a bow, trying to keep our torso parallel to the ground. Stretch those shoulders, rock your chair so your elbows stay straight. There you go, 10. And then chair comes down, chest expansion, eyes come up towards the ceiling. Love it. Okay. So I went really slow for this first 2 reps. If you got the hang of it, go ahead and move at a pace that makes sense for you. I'm going to kind of continue at the same pace. Getting the stretch. So when you're in your bow, you should feel a stretch in your shoulders, your hips, your hamstrings. And then when you come into extension, we're going to open up the front of the chest and maybe stretching your neck in front. Let's do a couple more here. And then up. Okay. And this action too of changing our eyes, like down to the floor, up to the ceiling. We're training that vestibular system to be able to, move, like quickly move from one place in the world to another place in the world with our eyes and not feel dizzy, right? Or at least that's the goal. Where if you feel a little dizzy right now, that's actually pretty normal. But when it happens in real life, then we're like primed for it. Yeah. Last one. Good. And shake it out. All right, we're going to do another set of your heel raises. That is level 1. Option 1 is just the heel raise, same thing that we did last time. Remember, we did like super finger on the chair, heel raises. Okay. Option number 2, we're going to layer in a squat with it. Okay. So it's going to go a little bit wider through our feet. We're going to come up onto our toes. So heel lift. We're going to bend the knees, still keeping the heels up. We're going to stand all the way up and then lower the heels down. Okay. So that's option number 2 if you want it. We go up in the heels, bending in the knees as low as you want to go, stand back up and lower down. Okay. Continue with that. Otherwise, remember, you're just doing the heel lift. Okay. So whatever version you're choosing today, super finger, just using that chair for balance. Try not to put a lot of weight through it. We want the effort in our leg. When you come down into that squat, I want you to try to keep your head or your torso vertical. Imagine I put a glass of water on your head. Don't let it slip off the front. It's going to make you bend your knees a little bit as opposed to backing forward, which is that other exercise. Let's go one more time. Good. And release down. Wow. Ankle work, huh? Shake out the legs. Nice. We're going to go to the hip hinge. Bill, again, this is kind of what we did yesterday with rocking the chair on its front 2 legs. So feet again, about hip width apart. We're going to hinge forward. So bowing at the crease in front of your pants, like where your pockets would be. Stick your booty up. Yeah, there we go. And then chair comes flat, chest expansion, eyes go up to the ceiling. You can almost like Pooh Bear it, right? Stick out your stomach. Stretch forward, sit bones wide, rocking on the chair, and then letting it drop and come into extension. Okay, go ahead and work through that for the time interval. Feel the stretch in those hamstrings and then come up. Good. Carrie, bend your knees just a little bit on the hinge. There's like a micro, I call it a micro bend. So your booty's still up, but the knees are just slightly bent. That's going to get your hamstrings a little differently. Yeah, there you go. Good. And I love this one again. You get that shoulder stretch, that overhead shoulder mobility. You get the stretch in the hamstrings, a little bit of thoracic extension. Let's do one more time for everyone. Nice job. Good. All right. We're going to flip that chair around or walk around to the other side of the chair. Working on transitions coming down to the ground, which then we will use at the end of class coming up off the ground. Okay. You can use the chair or not. I'm going to show with the chair. And if you don't need the chair, just do the same thing that I'm doing. Just pretend the chair is not there. So it's the same shape. All right, so we're gonna have hands on the front part of your seat. So you're facing the seat part of the chair. Yeah. Nice. And we're gonna take, your feet are gonna be pretty close to the front edge. We're gonna take your right foot and stride it really far back, like further than you think you need to. And you're like, whoa, I'm in this really athletic looking lunge right now. Yeah, the chest is up, and you can actually look, depending on the height of the back of your chair, you'd be able to see like over the top of the back of the chair because your eyes are up. Yeah, nice. Step that right foot back to where it came from. And then the left foot's going to stride back as far as it'll go and bring your heart upright, look over the top of the chair. Nice, Janet. Good. And step together. So we're just going to work on the alternating of those movements, going into like a deep runner's lunge. Nice. Very good. Bring your eyes up every single time. That's going to tell your body, your spine, the back, the muscles in your back to lift up for your posture. Yep. Just alternating from side to side. You can go as fast or slow as you need to. Good. One more time. We're going to finish. So one or two more times. Finish with the left leg back. So everyone's on the same page. Finish with the left leg back. Eyes are up. Yes. We're going to lower your left knee down to the ground. And at this point, we're now in this like proposal stance. Yes. I think all of us are going to be able to now lift our hands off the chair and be okay. Yeah. Keep in mind, if you're feeling wobbly, you may need to widen out your stance a bit. Otherwise, you're like on a tightrope. Okay, so widen out your stance. And again, it's going to be harder too if your heel is really close to that knee. That's really hard to balance. Let yourself like stable base, wide base. All right. Okay, so we have left foot is back. Yeah, I'm just going to face you. Left foot is back. Right hand's going to be on your right knee. Windmill, this left arm, we're going to stretch it forward. Brush your bicep along your ear, open up to the back wall, look at something behind you. Sweep the arm down past your hips, point at something in front of you. There we go. Up and over, brush your ear with your bicep, point at something behind you and look at it. Reach it down, point at something in front of you. Again, keep moving through that. So again, we have something behind you, something in front of you. Focus and lock your gaze on those two objects, front and back. And do not move into the rest of the circle until you've created that like focus eye gaze. We want to be able to, again, move our eyes from forward to back with ease. Again, those of us still driving, those of you still driving, this is really important to be able to look behind you, see if there's anyone in that merging lane, and then look at the road in front of you again. How quick can your eyes adjust between those two spots? Good. One more time. And even if you don't drive, yeah, you're probably doing that to help your partner drive, yes? Especially if your partner is not a great driver themselves. Bring this leg in. Other leg forward, right leg forward. Right leg forward. Yep, use the chair if you need to make that switch. All good. Remember, find your stance here, get yourself situated. Wide base is better. Hand on your thigh. And if you want to hold on to that chair, that's fine too. So knee or chair, whatever, either one. And we're going to windmill that. So we go forward, pick your thing in front of you. Brush your bicep or brush your ear with your bicep and look back. Again, forward and back. Keep going. How quickly can your eyes and your torso flick from behind you to in front of you? Behind you to in front of you. Allow your torso to rotate. And I want straight elbows too. Can we go straight elbows the whole time? Good. Lifting that posture up high. Let's go two more. And last one. Love it. And return. Bring this knee underneath you. So now we're in a split kneel position. We're going to move away from the chair if you haven't already. So either push your chair off to the side or side step or whatever, walk yourself away. We're going to bring our hands into like a diamond shape on your back. How's that positioning for the shoulder? Is that okay? that a stretch in the shoulders? If that's too much on the shoulders, you can just have your hands stick straight by your side. Okay, we're gonna go for your hip hinge again. This is what we did with the chair earlier. We're just now in a kneeling position with our hands behind the back. So we're gonna bow forward. Your hips will go towards your heels, that's okay. And then bring yourself up, look at the thing in front of you. So you're gonna look at floor, thing in front of you, floor, thing in front of you. Here's the deal though. I don't want you to round your spine or let your head be heavy. I want you to think about opening up your chest when you do that exercise. So you're widening your sit bones, your booty is getting really big and wide. Bring it up. Your booty's getting bigger. Hinge, keeping your chest open, nice flat back. Pull the chicken wings back when you're going to that hinge. Chicken wings. I made some chicken wings the other day. So good. Sorry, vegetarian. Hinge. And hips. Nice, team. How low can you go? Can you peck the ground with your nose? Maybe there's a little rounding of your spine. That's okay at the end. How's that hip mobility? How close to the ground can you get? That takes a lot of core and back strength to not just face plant, huh? Figuring out where your positioning is. Good. We're gonna do that one more time. Hinge and bring it up. Nice job. Zombie arms, please. Roll your shoulders open. Perfect. Untuck. Oh, we didn't stretch the tops of our feet today. Yikes. Oh, well, here we go. We're in it to win it. Side stretch. We're going to lean back onto the tops of the feet and the shins. This is going to be a big stretch for those ankles. And then push yourself vertical. I call this the matrix move. Lean back and push. Yes, there's going to be a little burn in those quads. That's a good thing. You're doing it right. Lean back. Abs are in, tail is tucked. Nice job. Lean back. Doesn't matter how far you go. Quite frankly, if you hang out right here in your zombie move, I'm going to. 2 more. Holding zombie move and or moving backwards. You got it. Last one. Rock on. Nice job. All right, we're gonna bring our hips down towards our heels and slide your hands out. So you're sort of in this like low, why do I want to say low puppy thing? I don't know. This is like a dog sit. And then bring yourself up to high kneel. This is like how my dog sits. Kind of like hips over heels, hands come out in front. And then upright. Good. So we're working on the transition now from a high kneel position to a low kneel position, or maybe even quadruped. Reaching the arms out in front of you as you set the hips back. Nice. Working on the transition. Good. The real function happens when we work in between the positions, yeah? The fluidity. Maybe you do one hand at a time, all good. We're gonna do one more time, land in your puppy sit. This is now officially puppy sit. Once you get into your puppy sit, come into your hands and knees. So now we're stacked. We're no longer in puppy sit, we're in quadruped. Let's go puppy sit. Quadruped. I think this already has a name, doesn't it? I don't want to call it child's pose because that has the connotation of like restorative, and we're not quite restorative yet. So puppy sit, 2 hands and knees. Working on that deep hip flexion, deep knee flexion. Good. Activation, like getting ready to locomote. We're going to go for 2 more. Last one. Come into that hands and knees. Nice job. All right. We're going to work some shoulder strength here. We're going to take your left elbow down to the mat, and then your right elbow down to the mat. And then you're going to take your left hand onto the mat, and then your right hand onto the mat. These are called up downs. So left elbow, left hand, right hand. Good. Go ahead and work on that transition. Left lead. You're always going to move first with the left hand. And again, working at a pace that makes sense for you. This transition requires tricep strength. It requires shoulder strength, core strength, back strength. Torso mobility in rotation. There's a little rotational component there, yeah? Little bit of rotation required of this movement. Finish up in a tall position. So on your hands, we're going to go puppy sit. And if you can, we're going to bring ourselves into a low kneeling position here with your hips sitting on your heels. If this doesn't work for you, you can stay in the tall kneel. Okay, so whichever one works for you. The choreography is going to be the same. Both arms in front of you. Good. We're going to let's do this. Cross the arms in front of your chest. Give yourself a hug. We're going to rotate to the right. Look behind you. I want you to take your eyes to the farthest right side of your eyeball socket. And then center, look at me or look in front of you. Rotate to the left. Take your eyeballs to the farthest side of your eyeball socket. And then looking forward, okay? So again, you're either low sitting or high kneeling. Rotate and center. Rotate and center. Good. Keep moving. Again, working on this rotational ability both in our trunk and our eyeballs and our neck. Your eyeballs have muscles in their sockets, so we need to exercise those eyeballs just as much as the rest of the body. Let's do one more on each side, finish on the side that you did not start with. Good, nice job. All right, puppy sit, hands and knees. We're gonna do your transitional up down, the up down with the right side lead, okay? So we go right elbow down, left elbow down, right hand, left hand, okay? Go ahead and work at a pace that makes sense for you. Again, working shoulder strength, rotation, super functional. Like you're down on the ground, you're working your way up. Exercise is the transition. There you go, Ted, nice job. Keep going. We got about 10 more seconds of this exercise. It's either this or push-up. I think these are a little bit easier than push-up. Last one, finish up with the hands high. Good. Let's have everyone kind of spin themselves so that they're facing me if they're not already facing me. Yeah, and I'm just gonna tip this down a little bit. So everyone's in their hands and knees and facing me. We're gonna take your left knee towards your right hand and then sit on your hip. This takes a lot of rotation. So I said left knee to your right hand and then slide onto your hip. Good. Can you reverse it? Don't get too comfortable. And come back into hands and knees. We're gonna do the opposite side. My right and left. Right to left hand, slide and bring your hip down. There we go. And then reverse it. Awesome. So this, it may look like it could look how I just did it, or maybe it's just bringing the knee in and kind of dropping the hip again. So if you don't have the full like range of motion, mobility to actually sit down on the hip, just work the top range. Just like boom, and then come back. Boom, come back. Okay, because I want your hands to be on the ground the whole time. Lots of shoulder strength. Go ahead and work at a pace that makes sense for you. We're almost down to the ground, then we can take a rest on those shoulders. Whichever side you're on, you're gonna finish with the left knee forward and your left hip on the ground. We have left hip on the ground. And if you want to turn towards me so that we can mirror each other, that's fine. Otherwise, I'm just gonna call out left, right. So we have left hip on the ground, yeah, and the hands are sort of outriggered. Excellent. You're gonna keep left hand on the ground. Right arm is gonna reach up and you're gonna rotate open. I want you to tap your big toe on the right side and then rainbow arc the arm again and plant it where it came from. Rainbow arc the arm around, tap your big toe, and then coming through and plant. Nice job. Up. Now, bonus points here. If you tap the toe and you're able to lift up your left hand, go for it. The left hand plants, and then we bring the rainbow arc back home. Okay, whatever version is for you. Maybe you bring yourself even into a stretch. Yeah, nice, Carrie, good. Okay, so do what you need to do here. Working on your side sit mobility. Looking good, Janet, nice job. Let me see it, Alana. Yes, good. Lots of work in that shoulder. One more time. And return home. Nice. We're going to take right hand. We're going to actually sweep it around the side, and we're going to bring ourselves into crab position. So there's going to be some maneuvering here. Keep your hands strong so that we don't lose that planting. And then you're going to let your knees fall to the other side. So now we're sort of sitting on the right hip. Okay. And if you want to maneuver yourself around so that you're facing me, go for it. But we're going to do the exact same thing that we did on the other side. So we're sort of in this twisted mermaid sit. Side sit, both hands are off to the right. Left arm's going to sweep forward. Rainbow arc, you're going to tap your toe. Rainbow arc, come back home. Rainbow arc, tap your toe. Rainbow arc, come back home. Rock on. Rainbow arc, tap your toe. Maybe look over your shoulder again. Feel, all of that training for driving, looking over your shoulder. Or let's say even like someone called your name and you want to be able to look over your shoulder to see who it was or respond to them. But sometimes with Parkinson's, the feet get so planted on the ground. So we want to be able to have this rotation in our body so that we can look to see what's behind us without having to move our feet. Right? All righty. If you're going to add a spice, you're just going to float your right hand. And we'll just do a couple more because I kind of forgot this one, to be honest. And we've already done so many reps. Starting to get off of that hand. Good, nice job. Janet, I feel like you've been coming to my class for years. You're rocking it. One more time. Maybe she does Pilates. Good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and sweep around and come into crab. And we're gonna lie your legs up and we're gonna lower ourselves down to the ground. Make sure you have real estate behind you so you don't hit your head. Excellent. All right. Oh, finally, we're on your shoulders. Holy Toledo. That was a lot of strength work. Let's bend your knees up so that you're in what's called a hook lying position, feet flat, knees bent. And we're just going to let our knees drift from side to side. I usually open with this one, huh? Good. We're well over halfway. Kind of a little restorative intermission here. As you let your knees fall from one side, so if your knees fall to the right, we're going to turn our head and look at your left thumbnail. So you're kind of doing like a thumbs up on the left side. Knees go over to the right, and you're going to look at your right. Oh my gosh. The opposite of your knees. Yes. The opposite of your knees. Is that easier for me to say? Easier to follow? Head and eyes go opposite the knees. Yeah. Good. Last two. And last one. Nice job. You're going to let your knees fall off to the side that's facing me. We're going to try this out. And you're going to roll onto your side that's facing me, or pick a side. Now, if you want to like mirror me, if you're a visual learner and you want to do like the same orientation as me, let's have your head over here on this side and the feet over down there on that side. Okay. And you're lying on, I guess, your right side. All right. We're going to do pinwheel stretch. We're going to stretch the arm forward. I want you to try to rotate your trunk so much that the logo or the buttons on your shirt or whatever are touching the ground. Oh, so much rotation. We're going to trace our fingers, walk your fingers like Sing from Addams Family. You're going to walk them around all the way behind you. Open up your torso towards the ceiling. Sweep your hand past your hip. And then again, logo or buttons come down to the ground. Okay. Walk your hands around, straight elbow. and then return open. You can also think of it as like if I gave you a paintbrush in your hand, try to make a bigger circle with that paintbrush than you did the previous repetition. You're trying to stretch your shoulder, shrug your shoulder out towards your ear or wherever, get more trunk rotation, try to make a bigger circle on the outside of what you just drew. One more time there. Rotating through, up and around. Nice job. We're gonna finish in the open position. Here's the stickler part. You're gonna squeeze your knees together and see if you can draw those knees over to the other side, keeping them clamped together, and let them fall away from me. Roll your body so that it's facing away from me. Make a pillow if you need to. Same thing on this side. Pinwheel, halo, paintbrush, Addams family, thing, whatever you want to call it. Reach forward so that your zipper buttons or logo on your shirt is touching the ground. Walk your fingers up and around. Open up towards the ceiling. You can maybe look at me on the way. And then coming back forward again. Go ahead and work through that range. Again, if it helps to visualize with the paintbrush, drawing a bigger circle with your paintbrush every time you come through it. Excellent. Maybe 2 more. Let's do 1.5 more so that we're going to finish with our chest open towards the ceiling. Excellent. Open with your chest to the ceiling and hold. Okay. Some of you are like not able to get your chest all the way open, like your back's not on the mat, no big deal. We're going to push off the arm that's furthest away from me. Push off that arm. Bring your knees up and over to the other side. And then in the meantime, I want you to try to keep your back, like find your back flat on the ground and try to keep it there. So now we're just going to work on keeping your upper body flat on the ground. And your knees are waving from side to side. It's called windshield wipers. Okay. You're going to start off by keeping your feet on the ground, kind of similar to what we did not that long ago. And if you want to up level the exercise, we're going to float the feet off the ground. And if you want to up level the exercise even further, you're going to bring your legs into a 90-90 position, like tabletop. Good. Use your arms that are on the ground to push off of, and your exhale to engage the abs. That'll help you bring everything back to center and over the top of that apex. Good. One more time. You got it. And release. Nice job. Bring your feet flat on the mat if they're not already. We're going to go into bridging land next. Actually, let's do this before we get that going. Let's dorsiflex your feet. So pull the tops of the feet towards your shin. And I want you to tap the ground with the balls of the feet and then bring your feet back up. So we're just working on sort of this like foot, like putting on the gas and letting off the gas, except your heels are going to stay on the floor the whole time. And if you have carpet or you're working on something kind of slippery, like my heels are starting to slide out, no big deal. We'll just reset when you need to. And we're immediately going to feel a shin burn if you're with me. Oh my gosh. Come on. Hold on to it. We're going to go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh. Okay, shake it out. One of those shin pumps hurt so bad every time, no matter how many we do. All right, arms down by your side. Now we're ready for bridging. We're going to press the hips up towards the ceiling. Your first bridge of the day. Can you almost done with class and we're just doing our first bridge? Articulate your spine down. Ribs, so upper back, mid back, low back, top of the pelvis, and then your tail touches the mat. Let's do that a few times. Press the hips up, standing on top of your shoulders, and then articulate down nice and slow. And remember with your bridge, perception might be different than reality. So, you know, I always say this with the bridge. I don't know why this cueing always comes out in the bridge, but with every movement, go to the range of motion that you think you need to go to. And then we're going to go an inch further. Good. So we got a little bit further than we think our end range is. articulating down. We'll go 2 more times. Press, articulate down. Nice job. And last one, press and articulate down. Excellent job. All right, we're going to keep our feet in the hook, our legs generally in a hook line position. Take your hands on the front part of your pelvis so that you can have some feedback on what your hips are doing while we do some other things with our legs. We're going to bring right leg into tabletop. Kick your right leg up towards the ceiling. Reach your right leg long. Bend your right leg into tabletop. Here, this should be familiar. Kick vertical. Stretch long with the leg. Pull the leg into tabletop and kick vertical. All right, you're riding a really big 1 pedal bicycle. Like the biggest bicycle pedal stroke that you could ever imagine happening. Nice job. Now, as you're working through this, I want you to try to keep your core engaged. So try not to let your back arch or press into the ground as we're doing things with the leg. Use your breath to help you with that stability. One last time here on that right leg. Finish with that foot in hook lying position. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Left leg in tabletop. Kick vertical. Reach long. Pull it into tabletop. Kick vertical. Reach long. Pull it in. Good. Big bicycle pedal strokes on that side. Core stability, of course, throughout the set. Using your breath pattern to help with stability. Biggest pedal strokes you can, all right? This is like your big strides in your gait. Last 2. And last 1. Nice job. Bring it in. Feet planted. We're going to do 1 more set of bridging. Okay. Option for the second round of bridging. We're going to do it in a figure 4 position. So again, first option, normal bridging like we did on the set. Okay, just up and down, both feet on the ground, super standard. Second option, we're going to cross your leg over the other so that you're in a figure 4 position. Okay, so if I were to turn, looks kind of like this, like crossed over. It's called a figure 4. The leg that's still on the ground is going to be what you bridge into. So you're going to press the hips up and then lower the hips down. We have a built-in hip stretch with our bridge. Press up and down. And I want you to do 10 on one side and 10 on the other. I'm going to count for you. You're adult. And I don't know how to. Yeah. Press. Good. 10 on one side. Don't wait for me to cue you to switch sides. You just do it. Remember, it's a figure 4 position. And you can either do the figure 4 bridging or the standard bridging, but then that means you're doing 20 total of the standard. That's a lot. But you're doing a double leg, so I guess it evens out. Nice. And when you're done, hook line position and just let your knees go from side to side so I know you finished. And I know we can move on. Good. So when you finish your 10 on each side, just let your knees drift from side to side so I know you finished the exercise. This is never a bad idea. It's a good placeholder, huh? Great. All right, from what I see, everyone looks finished. You're gonna let your knees fall over towards me. We're gonna push off and come into that little twisty mermaid. So roll over towards me, come into, press off, come into that little twisty mermaid. We practice this, yes. We're gonna reverse this and come into hands and knees. We practice that. Bringing that knee back. Very good. If you need the chair to come up to stand, you're going to crawl over to the chair. We're going to bring hands onto your chair if you need that, or come into a high kneel position. All right, so whether or not you're using the chair, the choreography is the same. You just are going to be like more upright, maybe hands on your hips, yeah? Left foot comes wide and then return it back in. Right foot comes wide and then turn it back in. So we're working on the agility of being able to bring one leg forward. Use your chair, or you, Alana, are you okay? Oh, she sat in the chair. I thought I saw you fall. Yeah, nice. All right, and go ahead and pick the side that you want to stand up on, whether that's your good side or the side that you need more work on. And we're going to rise on up, step together, and then turn around and take a seat in the chair. Nice. Take a moment, roll the shoulders open. Get yourself kind of reacclimated to this height. We've been on the ground for a while. We're at a different altitude here. Once you feel sort of acclimated, we're going to stand up out of your chair and we're going to walk around the room. And I want you to self-assess those two things that I told you to remember at the beginning of class. And I can kind of run through the list. I don't know if it'll be exactly the same, but the sound of your gait, the articulation, where on your foot do you land, the stride length. What about your hips? Do they move like a model on the runway? Or are they rigid? And your arm swing. And do you need to look down or can you look up? How's your peripheral vision? And then come on back to your station, your main spot, your center. And if walking wasn't in the cards today, you can just work on a weight shift or even marching in place. All right, so landing at your center spot. Look down at your feet. How did you land? Is it different or the same from when we started? How's your feet? If you were barefoot, do your feet look the same or do they look different? What about the bounce? How's that? How's the jiggle? A little easier to jiggle, or are we more tired to jiggle? Yeah, and even like some of you getting a little like twist pivot. I love it. What about that rotation? Can we let the arms kind of fling? Oh, Janet, that looks better. Yeah. Nice job. Bring the arms up into a high reach. Shrug the shoulders up. And we're going to touch the ground in some way. We're going to do that 2 more times. Reach. Touch the ground in some way. Maybe it feels better now than we kind of moved around a little bit. Last one, reach up, shrug your shoulders, and then touch the ground in some way. And then give yourself a pat on the back or a round of applause. Virtual high five. Nice job. I'm going to turn off the recording. If you have anything you want to share with the group, you can